If you own a business or you want to own one, it's definitely something to investigate. It is here to stay, it is growing, and it is pretty darn cool to change people's lives for a living.
The world is changing quickly, and success plays by a new set of rules.
It's a cool thing now to learn from somebody who's already been there.
Now more than ever, people have the ability to create not just a career, but an entire life that is founded on their core skills, their passions, their beliefs.
When you can turn your experience into the product, it doesn't have to be shipped, the price can't go up, the knowledge is there. You already paid the price with the experiences you went through, the time it took you to learn something.
How to transform your learnings in life into earnings and impact.
You have a life experience that can help someone go faster, that's extremely valuable, and people only need to hear it from you.
Where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth in this knowledge industry?
Technology has really reduced the curve on how long it can take to jump in.
Welcome back, Kwik Brains. I'm your host and your brain coach, Jim Kwik. Today's guest needs very little introduction, so let's jump right in. Dean Graziosi's mission for the past few decades has been to deliver self-education to those seeking transformation, fulfillment, and success outside the traditional education path. He has contributed to the growth and development of over 14 major companies, is one of the key pioneers of the knowledge economy, helping empower millions of people from all around the world. And he is the author of multiple New York Times bestselling books. You know how I love books, including one of my favorites, Millionaire Success Habits, the gateway to wealth and prosperity. In this episode, we will be discussing the new rules to achieving success and how to turn your existing knowledge into power and profit. Welcome to the show, Dean Graziosi.
Jim, so good to be here with you, man.
I feel very blessed, had the opportunity. We had met over a decade and a half ago. I still have this photo actually in my office of a mastermind that in 2009 with you and I and Richard Branson, and it was a game changer in Calgary. But we're going to talk about becoming the game change that's going on right now. And so I wanted to start by just building an enjoyable career. Creating financial freedom, living a more fulfilling life is something that most everyone wants.
Yeah, of course.
In this country, we have the term American dream, and every other countries might have something in the same theme. I'm wondering if it's still relevant in today's society, especially for those who are facing challenges. Maybe we look at challenges as opportunities, but increased cost of living, maybe they want to become a homeowner or rising debt, etc.
Yeah, no, great question. And my brain goes in so many different directions. One is, how do you look into, investigate, and explore something that inflation doesn't have a negative impact on, right? And that seems hard, but inflation is attached to products. Why I love the conversation we're going to have today is when you can turn your experience into the product, it doesn't have to be shipped. The price can't go up. The knowledge is there. You already paid the price with the experiences you went through, the time it took you to learn something. My partner, and you had the chance I know your friend as well, Tony Robbins, sat down with Warren Buffett a few years ago, and he said, hey, in a time of inflation, don't start a business that takes a lot of overhead to get started or takes a lot of upfront money, and don't start a business where your cost of product could go up significantly due to inflation, because that's how you get crushed. So the one thing why I love this conversation that we're going to be having today is inflation can't touch the value of knowledge. It doesn't impact it in any way. Usually knowledge is the most valuable thing you have. But you asked, and I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, the question you asked that I think is really important. And I know, no matter where you are on the level of success that you wish to be, I know we all have our obstacles. I'm not saying it's rainbows and butterflies and easy sailing. We are in very uncertain times, especially here in the country, very divided, weird things happening. We don't know where the future is going. And sometimes that can make you play a little small, stay in the situation you're in, even if you don't love it. There's something I've been thinking a lot about lately, Jim, and you and I have been fortunate to have a lot of conversations since the first time we met a decade and a half ago. We were just together, several times this year, which I love every time. But I think we were taught we must find a work-life balance. And I really want your opinion on this because I love the way you think. I love digging under the hood of your brain, right? I get lucky enough to do that multiple times a year. But I think we were taught a work-life balance because in so many cases, people didn't like the work they were in. And they had to teach them, hey, you get to the front door before you jiggle the key to open the front door, walk through, get in a different state, find a way to be happy. And I've just never met anybody where that's worked for them. But what I have noticed by being someone who, as yourself, I love to follow patterns. I read books obsessively. I love watching interviews. The happiest people I know found life work integration.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can separate them, Jim. I don't think there is a life-work balance. I bring my work home every day, but you and I are working right now. I'm going to be a better human after I talk to you for the next 30 minutes or so. Every time we meet or we meet with other great people or masterminds we're in, that's our job. We get to be better humans, and I bring that home for the dad I am, the husband I am, the son I am, the friend I am. Again, I'm not trying to say just quit everything and this is so easy. Everything takes you model and proven practices and uncomfortable action and all those things that we have to do. But I think the life work integration means that you get to do something that fills your soul, right? And you said everybody wants it, and I think the game has changed because I think it's more available now than ever before because of the internet, because of technology, because we're all connected. Some of those things where people are afraid of, I think that's the thing that can allow you to tap into something where you don't know where one ends and one's begins. And I think to simplify the American dream, I think that's what it is.
I feel you. One of the questions that I get frequently is outside of my body of knowledge is how did you get started? How did you take your mess and turn it into your message, if you will? And I always tell people that everybody has that experience. And if they choose to do so, so many people could benefit from it by sharing it. And for me, passion is what lights you up, and purpose is how you use that passion to light somebody else up. So for me, learning is one of my passions, and we could have many passions. Learning lights me up. It didn't always, when I wasn't good at it. And teaching people how to learn is my purpose because it lights other people up. And I feel almost a moral obligation to do what I do. And what you and Tony have done, because you have collectively, close to 75 years
Yeah, it's crazy.
in
Yeah.
the knowledge space. The two of you really started the industry. I remember seeing both of you back to back infomercials, decades ago. You're really well suited to show people how to do that because you provide people with a map and a toolkit, if you will, and you simplify things that makes it very doable. And so what would you say are some of them, an important or a couple of important skills or qualities to learn in order to succeed in this new era of career and business opportunity?
Yeah, really great question. First off is to realize that your experience is that valuable to somebody else. We have a mutual friend, Trent Shelton, who's a really great guy. And Trent said one time when he was on my stage, he said, not only do you have a life experience that can help someone shift their life fast, there are people out there right now that can only hear it from you. And I thought that was so powerful because some want to learn from Jim. There's people following you right now that may have never met me. And I love what you do. I tell everybody they should follow you, but I guarantee there's people who follow me that don't follow you and vice versa because you're a voice that resonates with their soul that makes them shift. So I love that. So first is realizing that you have a life experience that can help someone go faster. That's extremely valuable and people only need to hear it from you. And another thing, I've asked hundreds of thousands of people this just for fun, Jim, but I've said, if you had the opportunity for me to cut you $1 million check right now, goes in your bank account, or I could send you back and you could spend a whole week with your 20-year-old self, teaching your 20-year-old self, sharing what you learned, what they should do with business, with life, how your mess can become your message, how you don't have to follow the norm, that you can learn in different ways. You can find a way to digest, you get specialized knowledge. And I've literally asked hundreds of thousands of people, and hardly ever, whether it's live or in chat, do I ever see somebody take the $1 million. So if your information is that valuable to somebody else, or to yourself, you have to realize that your life experience, you're one chapter ahead or one book ahead or a year ahead or a decade ahead. It's that valuable to somebody starting off on day one. And people are realizing they can shorten the gap by finding somebody who's already done what they want to do. They could go back to school and maybe get more general knowledge. They could learn through their own trial and error. They could try to figure out how, or they could find the who. And all of us can be the who for someone else. Once we understand that asset is valuable, then the rest is a process. Like you said, it's extracting it, packaging it, offering it.
You and Tony are experts at, you and your team. And, I even going through work even in the past couple of years with you, I learn and our team learns. And I feel like, we've been doing this a while, but these small little changes could lead to big returns. And when I'm just curious, when looking ahead, where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth in this knowledge? What do you call it? Knowledge economy, knowledge
Yeah, I
industry?
think knowledge industry, knowledge economy, the biggest growth, this is almost, I'm 28 and a half years. You and I and Tony are the longest I know, honest and truly, in this industry doing this. I don't know anybody else that's been consistent year after year. Tony, 44 years, me, 29 years. I know you're damn close to me, I think.
Yeah.
And I would say this industry, and I bet you would agree. I mean, to be funny is Tony and I were on an interview yesterday with a friend of his, and he said, when Dean and I started, we had to walk uphill both ways in the snow to school, it was challenging. You had to build an infomercial. You had to put a product in inventory and ship it and mail it. And what we were saying is this industry has grown and gotten easier and better and for lack of a better word, cooler. 20 years ago, you wouldn't say, I have a coach or I bought a course or I'm in a mastermind. People would look at you sideways. You have a coach. Are you play tennis, right? Are you playing basketball, right? Now, today you're at a dinner party. Somebody's like, oh, I'm in this mastermind. Oh, I have this coach. I bought 3 of these courses, right? It's a cool thing now to learn from somebody who's already been there. So that's benefit number 1. Number 2, the business is exponentially growing, right? It's at $1 billion a day. They're projecting it to be $1 trillion a year within 3 years. $1 trillion a year. So that means the industry's growing. It's cool. We have access to people. And what Tony and I believe, and this is, we're doing something special here in a couple of days to pull back the curtain on it, but the game has changed because technology has really reduced the curve on how long it can take to jump in. Listen, I've been saying for years, Jim, if you own a business and you don't have an information product attached to your business, you're missing out. At the end of the year on your P&L, on your profit and loss statement, an information product could be your most profitable. But if it's time for you to start a business, why not start a business that doesn't have startup costs, that doesn't have inventory costs, that has insane value? So I'm not trying to say this is for everybody, but it kind of is. Anything new is hard. When you have a baby for the first time, I remember driving home with our baby. My daughter's going to be 18 years old, but you drive home, you're like, how do you do this? Like, what the heck? But people help you. You understand. It's one step at a time and then become a dad. It's like anything new. When you don't understand it, it's hard. And that's what Tony and I try to do is take away that the how part and show you the process in which you do it. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, step 1, I identify it. Great. Step 2, I extract it. Okay, I understand what that means. Oh, and here's how I would package it. So I think it's like anything new. All I'd say is if you own a business or you want to own one, it's definitely something to investigate. It is here to stay. It is growing. And I don't know about you, Jim, but it is pretty darn cool to change people's lives for a living. Like, that's all I know.
None of the ingredients contained in the Kwik Mind product are claimed to treat any disease or health condition. Consult your own physician before commencing a nootropic regimen to ensure that this product is appropriate for you.
Do you struggle to stay focused or find that your mind wanders when you need to be sharp? Are you looking for an advantage or an edge that can eliminate sluggishness and elevate your cognitive performance? That's why after decades of research and development, I'm thrilled to bring you Kwik Mind. It's more than just a supplement. It's a key to unlocking your cognitive freedom on a day-to-day basis. Just imagine having the clarity of thought, sharp focus, better memory, and being calm under pressure. Every capsule of Kwik Mind is a blend of 5 pristine ingredients, each backed by research and chosen for its ability to support specific cognitive functions. So, are you ready to meet the sharpest version of yourself? It's just a click away. We have it all at kwikmind.com, Kwik mind.com. Place your order for Kwik Mind today and join a community that's redefining what it means to live a life of mental abundance. For me, I feel more obligation because I think we're best suited to support the person, to help the person we once were. And, shame on me if somebody's struggling with distraction or forgetfulness or not believing in themselves. or just overloaded, and I didn't do what I could to be able to support them. Now, the fact that somebody could take their passions and power and turn it into profit, that's I mean, it doesn't get better than that when it comes to that. Yeah, you mentioned, I want to highlight this. You mentioned that there's a special event coming up very shortly. It's called The Game Has Changed. It's a virtual live event,
Yes.
which really is the 2024. Everybody wants the success blueprint,
Yeah.
and you created that with Tony to building the life and career and the business that you love, and it's only a few days, and so maybe we could talk about. I want to just thank you, because we've arranged for everyone listening to get a complimentary ticket. So I
Yeah.
really recommend everybody lock in their spot. This is extremely generous of Dean and Tony. You can get it at jimkwik.com/game changer. That's Jim, KWIK.com/game changer. And I'm going to tell you, like, I'm going through it. We sent clients to it, friends, even our teammates are watching it. And so we get to do it together. But what is it, and who is it for?
Great question. We get to go live. We do a big event once a year. Jim, you were a part of our event last year, and
Yeah.
and I'm hoping you'll be a part of our event this year if you want to share that in a little bit. We'll have 1 million people register for this event. And you said something earlier, and I didn't want to just say me too, but especially being Tony Robbins' partner, I'm at a place where we're working harder than ever before when we don't need to, because it is an obligation. We want to leave this world a better place. You want to help people be better learners. Tony and I want to share our craft with people. So when we're gone, we help produce thousands and hundreds of thousands of people sharing their knowledge. We get to make self-education the new norm. We get to have people realize if you die with knowledge in your head that can allow someone to go faster, you're doing them a disservice. And it's insanely valuable. So over those 3 days, we've done events before that have been incredible, but nothing like this, because what I was saying earlier, technology has shortened the gap. It's allowed for us to, think about, this sounds science fiction. We've just taken, and we're going to share some of this, we've just taken 20 years of how Tony and I think, how we work in this industry, our biggest secrets when it comes to marketing or sharing or impacting or delivering. And we have technology that thinks like Tony and I. So instead of just starting on the blank page and trying to figure out, you have the opportunity to say, Tony, Dean, how would you write this headline? Hey, what would be the 6 teaching points? I teach moms how to get through trimester 4 after having a baby. I did this. What are some teaching points that could help moms? And all of this helps get you off the blank page and get you, not to use a baseball metaphor. I know there's people all over the world and maybe you don't understand baseball, but get people on third base, get them 3/4 away there rather than staring at a page. So what we're going to do day one is we're going to show people how to identify the asset that they have in their head. What delivery system would best work with them? Are you kind of an introvert and you want to create a course? Or do you like people coming together in a mastermind? Or do you want to do a monthly community on Zoom? So day one is identify what the asset is, how to put it together, how do you want to deliver it, identify your ideal person who would want it, and then Tony will come on and just Tony will do Tony, right? He'll make sure that he crushes every limiting belief you have and have you vibrating to where that night you know that you can do this. So that's just day one. Day two is my favorite part, is how to turn selling into service. A business doesn't become real until a sale is made. That's true. And most of the time people are taught cheesy sales tactics that make you go, ick, I wouldn't want to be in business. But when you can turn that and realize that it is service, that if you don't get someone to say yes, you're actually negatively impacting their life. And how do you find the ideal client who gets to say yes without hardcore sales? That's what we'll do day two. So day one, you'll know what, how, and who. Day two, how to get people to say yes through an elegant process that took me 30 years to figure out. And then day three, we'll teach you how to deliver it with confidence. And in between, we got some amazing surprise guests that are coming. And this year's different than anything we've ever done. We're going to sprinkle in how technology has shortened the gap and how people can use that technology and go faster. When I say the word technology, some of you might be like, oh, believe me, I'm 55. I don't like technology. I like things really simple. And we've obsessed on how to make it simple. So yes, on the link that you shared, all your guests, you guys are all invited for free, not kind of free. It's totally free. And the only thing I would say is sometimes when something's free, our brain kind of devalues it a little. Oh, it's just a free event. if you know anything about Tony, myself, and Jim as well, this is a long time we've been in this industry, and I would pretend you paid $1,000 for it and write it down that you paid $1,000 and show up with that kind of intent. This is really, I truly believe this is a once in a generation opportunity. This is how you get one step ahead rather than two steps behind. This is how you gain the unfair advantage to live into the opportunity, not get rich for doing nothing, but live into the opportunity of life work integration. And we're really stoked.
I'm excited. Knowing Tony and Dean, they probably have forgotten more about what it takes to be successful in this industry than most people will ever learn. And they've codified it over those few days and made it really easy. And I just say to everyone that's listening that you have, especially if you're listening to this episode, you have genius, you have experience, you have talent, skills, knowledge, abilities, and you have a personal style, as you mentioned, that other people don't have. And that is your uniqueness, is your superpower. And Dean and Tony have put together a roadmap on how to be able to take your powers and tap into even greater levels of purpose and profit. And so I'd highly recommend, all the information again is at jimkwik.com/game changer. Make sure you secure your spot and definitely take notes. And I'm looking forward to being part of this. Last year was absolutely outstanding, and I'm gonna pull the curtain behind what we do as a team and how I got started with all the same limiting beliefs and challenges. My two biggest challenges, growing up, were learning and public speaking. um, and life has a sense of humor because all I do is public speak on this thing
And learning.
called learning.
That is funny. Life has a sense of humor. I like that.
And I love that you have so many different options, because speaking on stage is not for everybody. Writing a book's not for everybody. Online courses, so you have something, or coaching. There's so many people don't realize what this is, because I think we all have these cognitive biases, right? These preconceived notions of what it is. And I just encourage people to have an open mind and to be able to join us. I'll be there. So many friends and clients will be there also as well. And so I want to thank you, Dean, for making it available for our community and making it complimentary, because you really take away the friction for people who've been sitting on the fence thinking like, oh, I can do that, but I'm not really sure if I have the courage to do it.
You know what, Jim, I have to say, a lot of times people say, why are you and Tony still doing this? And why are you doing an event for free? You could charge for this. Like, why would you do this? And I said, have you ever eaten at a great restaurant? The meal was so good, you couldn't wait to tell someone you cared about, right? You're like, oh my God, the food came out. It was cooked perfect. It was, the atmosphere, the temperature, the waitress or the waiter, it was so amazing. Or you read a book. You read a book that like just blows your mind. You're like, oh my, you have to read it. Don't, listen to it, read it at the same time, highlight it. When you experience something that is transformative, you want people you care about to experience it. As simple as that. I felt good at this restaurant. I want you to experience it, Jim. I read this book. It impacted my life. I want you to experience it. Tony and I have had the chance to go from two guys from completely different worlds that we had no idea where our future was going to lead. We dreamed there'd be more, but had no guarantee we were going to achieve it. There wasn't great college. There wasn't great education. There wasn't great money. I didn't think I was the smartest guy in the world. I had dyslexia, right? You have those feelings. And I know what it's like to look in the mirror and go, is this all there is? Like, I'm never going to be me. And on the opposite side, because of a miracle in some cases, because of small little shifts, because of little nuances, we get to be in an industry that lights me up every day. Like I said, I'm working right now. This is my job. Being here with my friend, having a great conversation is my job. And I found life work integration. I found an industry that's exponentially growing, and there's never been a better time for people to come in. So we're like, we went to the restaurant. We want to share it. We know this life and we know how to help people get there. So that's why we do it free, and we do it enthusiastically because of that exact reason.
That's perfect. I want everybody to join us, join Dean, Tony, myself, and some amazing surprise experts. Take notes, get the most. I mean, there's certain things that happen in life where you make that decision and all of a sudden it sets you on a new path, like one step in another direction. completely changes your destination, or some people would call it their destiny. So I want to thank you for making this available. There's a huge, I'm telling you, this is a huge production. And so the studio it's not, it goes beyond and exceeds all kinds of expectations you would imagine. And so from a learning perspective, this is something that's really going to land for so many of you. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to today's episode. It was an inspiring conversation with Dean Graziosi. We're diving deep into this evolving landscape of success and how we can all navigate the challenges and opportunities of our time. And just remember, the world is changing incredibly rapidly. And the key to really thriving is to stay adaptable, continually learn, as everybody here does, and align your actions, with your passions, your purpose, your beliefs. And if you found today's discussion valuable, don't forget to check out Dean's upcoming event. It is on June 13th. It's a fantastic opportunity to gain more insights and tools to help you on this journey. You could register and get your spot at jimkwik.com/game changer. That's jimkwik.com/game changer. I truly believe, everybody listening, that there's a version of yourself, of your business or future business, of your bank account, of your impact, that's patiently waiting. And I believe the goal is to show up every single day for ourselves until we're introduced. When you happen, remember, your mind is like a parachute, it only works when it's opened. And if you're hearing this right now, when would now be a good opportunity to introduce an idea that could change everything? Like me watching Dean and Tony, I was like, wow, this is something that I feel like that I could do. And it doesn't happen overnight, without a doubt, but show up. And I feel like a lot of success just showing up. So as always, don't forget to subscribe, join our 1.5 million YouTube subscribers, our whole community. Leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening to this episode. Tag, if you want, let us know you're coming. Take a screenshot of wherever you're consuming this, tag Dean on social media and tag myself so we get to see it, and let us know that you'll be there. And Dean, I want to thank you so much again.
Jim, it's always a pleasure. And we'll see you all on June 13th.
Amazing. This is your brain coach, Jim Kwik. Until next time, be limitless.